Welcome to Let's Talk Business. And today I'm really excited because I actually have my mentor here with me. Okay, so good morning, good afternoon, good evening is what I typically say because who knows what time you're watching this show. But I have my mentor with me, Fan Chou. You've been mentoring me since 2015. You're such a blessing in my life. Welcome to our show.
Well, thank you for having me. In 2015 seems a long time ago.
Doesn't it? We've been growing gracefully together, and even just in different industries. You know, with me doing staffing, with you doing construction, I think that we've really grown together a good friendship.
Yeah, and there's a lot of cross path, right?
Right.
In our business, your business and mine, and from Laura's business, I actually hire a couple of people through her referral, and actually those people are still staying with us and working with the same company.
Yay!
So that's probably. I would say that's a pat on her shoulder and able to vet out the right candidate for our purpose, and we're able to keep the candidate. Finding good help is always a tough challenge from any company, any business. So, especially in today's world, lack of good workforces or any workforces is never a good thing to lose a good worker.
Oh no, definitely. And so, Fan, you have your own company called Fanterprises LLC?
That's correct. I recently created a company. As I'm getting close to my twilight year of my career, I'm looking for an option, what I'm going to do if I retire. So I created a company, and I want to use the company as a platform to allow me to help people or consult people how to be a better profession in the construction engineering industry, because that's my background, that's all I know. But I incorporate that knowledge along with both domestic and international business, because that was my background, associated in that world with engineering construction. But I was associated in the global industry and worldwide, so I had a lot of that supplemental background to back my construction knowledge.
Yeah, so let's start with that. Give us a little bit of personal story of how you ended up in the United States, and also how did you end up in construction?
Well, I immigrated to the United States in 1970. When I left Hong Kong was at the end of the Cultural Revolutions, right? Everybody wanted to escape, and I was one of the family to escape. My mother took me and one sister, one brother that was under 18, so we could come as a family. My father couldn't come, and I got another older brother and older sister that couldn't come, but they were over 21.
Oh, wow.
So when I came over, within 6 months, my father passed away from a stroke because this is the first time the family got split, right?
Yeah,
they escaped from China during the Cultural Revolution, and they resided in Hong Kong. So I came here, couldn't speak a word of English. It was funny. I didn't even know how to say hello, right? I went to first 2 year grade school. I have no idea what the teacher's talking about. No idea. Just sit there, stay in the space. Eventually, I made it to school, did okay, and after I took a exam school in Boston and went to one of the 3 exam school in high school, more vocational, they're more technology related. So I got interested in drafting and things like that.
Yeah.
But I still don't know what the heck that means. So after I graduated from college, I say, okay, what am I going to do? Well, no, I'm sorry. After I graduated from high school, no idea what I want to do. So one of my best friends went to a local technology school. It just happened to starting into a 4-year program, used to be a 2-year program, and it was a all boys school.
Oh.
And they just turned a 4-year program, just start accepting women in the college level. I went there. I signed up for that school just because it's the simplest application I could ever fill. It was 1 pager, just the front, not even the back, and I got in. And when I went there, I have no idea about construction engineering. Don't know the terminology, don't know how the industry works. I went to 4-year college with 2 female students in 1 class in 4 years. So definitely was not a party school. And I did not party in college. I was working 2 part-time job while we're going to college. And I got in the business. That's how I got it. But my friend went to that school. And my sister happened to be in the similar industry. She was a smart one. She had a PhD in structural engineering, and she graduated from some of the top school in the country. Me, I was just a loafer, I guess. I just follow and go along, come along. But I was fortunate. I got hired by a company, and the industry they get it once I got out of school was microelectronic. That was the age at the age of microelectronic was in the transformation from like nobody knows about it, suddenly become wow, what the heck is that? My first wave project was with Raytheon. They were building the microchip to power the Patriot missile. So, and the history goes on, and from that time I worked on a couple of microelectronics. Some of the companies no longer exist, like Digital, Compaq. They all since gone. Then I went to open my own Chinese restaurant. I had my restaurant. I failed miserably, owed a lot of money. I went back to work again. Then I went back to the company first hired me out of college, and they gave me the second job. I was a project manager. They put me on front of World Cup '94. It was the World Cup soccer event worldwide. That was the first FIBA World Cup soccer event in the United States. I was a project manager for both design and construction for all the stadiums.
Nice, wow.
So I learned a lot of like sport entertainment business, and in a very short time. It was the first profitable sport event held in the United States.
Wow.
That was profitable. From since since I got promoted, I don't know why they did it, but they did. And then our company got acquired by a global company, and I got promoted again. So I became a operation director for a region that was most excited at that time was Asia. Oh, wow. And I also ran two divisions. I ran a division provides supplements service for a much global company worldwide. When you go on a construction job, you see all this thing, the trailer, the toilet, all those things there. Well, they're there for a reason. So we had to manage all that. And some of this job are huge, especially in another country. They don't have any of this service. The largest job I ever did one time to mobilize people was for AT&T in Georgia. We had to allocate 1,500 trailers. Okay. And we build things to accommodate in a global project that no one's there. Like nobody lives there, nobody goes there, and suddenly you got to have a construction project there. Okay, how do you set this up?
Right.
Then I was senatorial for all the labor union for the construction industry in the United States as another division. As an ops director in Asia with a global company business card, it opens a lot of doors for me. I learned a lot about both international and domestic business relationship and how that construction transformed. And the interesting note is that I learned how our construction industry get affected and affecting other industry globally. So in U.S., the S&P has 11 sectors, basically 11 industry we recognize. Bitcoin may be the 12, but not yet. Construction touched every one of those 11 sectors, every one of them. And construction is a very interesting industry. It creates two types of people. You get the blue-collar workers, and then you get the white-collar workers. And they both are going to argue who is the boss. Right? The blue-collar guys, well, if I don't install this door, you're not
gonna get a door.
You're not opening, and you're not getting paid. And the white-collar guy, well, if I don't give you the job, then you don't have a door to put in. I said, well, who's the boss? The truth of the matter, they're both the boss. It's one of the rare industry where both blue collar and white collar have to work hand in hand to ensure the outcome is the same and you could be profitable. There's no one really have a voice louder than the other. We have a simple way from a business. No one's going to pay you to build something if you can't build anything. You just have good paperwork.
Right.
But if you build something, you have the paperwork to support what you just built. It's a good piece of product. No one's going to pay you either. So, okay, what do you do? Right? So you it's a good marriage, and you have to be humble with each other in the marriage, right? You all have to know the give and take. It's not like I'm the boss, I get the suit and the tie, you got to listen to what I say. It's a yes and no answer, because the blue collar guy, I work slower today. I forgot my tools. What are you going to do? So it's interesting. It's a very interesting industry where a lot of people could excel in many, many ways, in many, many directions. And something, that's part of something I think is missing in the recent, maybe last 15, 20 year,
Okay.
which is what we call a generation workforce gaps. So we're missing a lot of that because our society is pushing the next generation workforce more into entitlement, more provide, things provided for you versus things you need to go after. It's interesting, the recent time when I interview recent college grad, one of the key component when you interview them is talk about quality of life. And I look back, clock maybe 30, 40 years, I'm aging myself. Quality of life, what the heck was that? You mentioned that word to my mom, I probably got smacked over the head. If I mention to the restaurant owner that I'm doing busing work, they're going to say, just keep busting the dishes, right? Forget about quality of life. There is no life. So we kind of miss a lot what you call the reality of life, hardship. I always have a saying, right? Hard people make easy people. Easy people, they eventually turn back to being hard people.
So you've been in the construction industry, you had said, since 1980, right? So
Yeah.
over 40 some odd years. So you definitely have the qualifications to be able to educate, train, help develop the workforce. You really do in project management area, right? So I know that you launched these classes. So let's talk a little bit about what drove you to launching them, right?
Okay.
And where you see this workforce going. We have about 5 more minutes before we go to commercial.
Okay. So the short answer is when I came up in the industry, the company I started with, very fortunate to have a very, very good training program. And
Okay.
that training program is not just behind the desk, but it's also a reality check. You actually get a project, get thrown at you, and you're working some seasoned professional, and they give you some guidance. And because of the industry we were really in microelectronic and biotech. And so really which is a highly regulated and structured manufacturing process.
Yeah.
So in order to be outstanding and be one-off kind of contractors, we actually got our documentation process, how to build building, get it certified ISO standard. So ISO is stand for Industrial Standard Organizations. You have to pay to get it certified. So we were the only company in the world actually have our processes certified by ISO standard. Because of that, we were able to represent ourselves to those clients like Intel, TSMC, Digital, say, we have the ISO standard, how we process and execute a project. It's the same way you have a process to manufacturing your good. So your result, the building we give you, it will be just as good the way you produce microchip, drugs, and anything else. So I learned a lot of that through that, and I was the co-author to roll that manual, to standardize it.
Okay.
And that manual get presented and executed in one of the largest construction engine company in the world at that time. At that time, that company did about almost $20 billion worth of work. And today's dollar is probably like $60 billion, okay? In my division, it was $9 billion. So, and those processes have proven year in and year out, job in, job out, very successful. I've been in this business for 44 years. Only until recently, the last 3 years, I have never one job I manage, I work on directly that I have control of, ever went to any litigation, not even arbitration.
That's good. That's a great success story there.
So
record.
So back to the training, yeah. So I created because I created that Fanterprises LLC is purposely to create a training program. This is more like really from boat meet the street training.
Okay.
By using all the years experience I have, because I've done all the little things. So it's nothing that I got to train you that I have not done myself.
Right.
Like, for example, if you know construction, RFI, request for information, right? It's a very simple form of document. Something you're not clear on, you ask the design guy or whoever the party, hey, can you help me out with an answer? Well, back when I first started, that didn't exist, that piece of document. There's no RFI. Now, it's RFI. It's a nice way, hey, you kind of, you didn't give me the right information or no information. Can you tell me what you want to do? So even that, as simple as that, you'd be surprised how many companies in this country, I don't care if the sizes they are, which they claim they have training program. I'll bet you they do not know how to write an RFI. So I probably wrote, if not 1,000, maybe a couple 100,000 RFI in my lifetime.
Okay, and you said an R5.
Yeah, RFIs.
So we have 1 minute left before we go to commercial. Explain what the R5 is.
RFI is abbreviation called Request for Information. So most of the time when you get in a project, the design is not always fully clear. There are always some things missing. You can't understood what the design's intent or the owner's intent. You request the information, say, hey, can you tell me what you want me to do here? Can you tell me what you try to do?
Right.
Can you give me a more decisive detail? How do you want me to build this thing for you? And a lot of times that. So the averages is for every $10 million worth of construction, you should have at least minimum 100 RFI. Okay?
Wow. No, so you're teaching all of this in your
Right.
classes, right? We are going to go to commercial. We'll be right back with Fan Chou, my mentor, and we'll talk a little bit more about the workforce because that's a lot of information with workforce about what's happening right now in the construction industry. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Introducing See Us Now Staffing, led by yours truly, Laura Nowlin. As the founder and president, I bring over 17 years of expertise in sourcing for talent, building winning teams of professionals, marketing, and workforce development. At See Us Now Staffing, we're not just a staffing agency. We're your strategic partner in building a winning team of professionals for your business. My passion for community service extends to connecting entrepreneurs with local resources. Recognized by the Small Business Administration as the 2022 Nevada Family-Owned Business of the Year, we're not just changing the workforce landscape, we're defining it. Well, welcome back. Here I am with my mentor, Fan Chou, and we're going to be talking now about workforce. So what do you think is happening right now with our workforce, especially in construction?
Well, the 30,000 feet answer is not so good.
Right?
So let me give you a little bit of background to kind of how did we get to here, right?
Right.
Back in the late 90s, early 2000, the global construction industry, U.S. represent about 60% of that globally. Today, we represent about 25%. So what that means is, and COVID also do a switch on us about logistics and manufacturing.
Yeah.
With that said, think of it 1 second, from 60 to 25% drop. What that means is 75% construction industry is outside the United States. So the demand of material and labor forces is higher outside the United States than USA. So you have a lot of strong workforce in USA, they would go outside USA to work because they get paid more than work in the United States. I remember the company I used to work for, I had people work overseas, we call expat, never come home except for vacation for years on out. And they make more money than you would be working here. So with that said, now you're competing with the rest of the world.
Right.
You're only 25%. So labor force, material, everything, you're competing. So that's why things are more expensive, takes longer to get. When people, why can't I cannot get an air conditioner right now? Well, you're not the only one who wants one now. And as you see the global market, you see all the major infrastructure going up. Major business hubs are going up. You look at Saudi Arabia building a new city. You look at Asia. Asia is growing leaps and bounds. Not China, just Southeast Asia, right? And India. Well, that takes a lot of cement. That takes a lot of everything. So back to us, we have two problems. We have an education problem.
Yes, we do.
The education is not providing the workforce pool that we once had 30, 40 years ago to work, right?
Right.
And most of the people that go to college, they think if I go to college, I have to study. I need a lawyer, medical doctor, accountant, which is a very structured business practice. Most other college education is becoming irrelevant in our business, in any business. Like an issue in the engineering, like our business is a little bit more applicable, but a lot of degrees is non-applicable.
Right.
Okay, so but you still spend the money.
Yes.
So think of one crazy thing. The last 20 some odd year, we were the lead in the world to accepting foreign students. Okay, guess what happened? Those guys have our education, and they left. They go
don't
back
wanna
to the
come back here
country,
anymore.
and then they help their home country to rebuild their economy. Case in point, about 30, 40 years ago, Taiwan is a different Taiwan, right? There was martial law. A lot of college came here, study here, graduate from MIT, Harvard.
Yeah.
They work in the technology business with digital, compact, Wang laboratory. Guess what? They took the technology back to Taiwan, create the biggest technology giant in the world. Right? They're the largest chip manufacturer in the world. So you see the shift. So what's happening to us? One, our education is not catching up with the rest of the world.
Right.
So we're not producing the next couple of generations, not just one generation, multiple generation workforce. And we don't have the numbers. So some people ask me, so what about the current illegal immigration process? Well, it's bad, right? There's nothing good come out. One, construction is a two-tier income industry. There's your blue-collar worker, work with your hand, and then you got the white-collar, work with your brain, right? For lack of a better term. Well, the illegal immigration will put a lot of pressure to the low-income earner, which is some of them in the hospitality business, some of them in the construction industry.
Right.
They'll put a lot of pressure on them. So by putting so much pressure on them, they're not going forward. The biggest thing to deter someone to do better is they lost hope of future. I got no chance to go from here. What am I going to do? So that's the biggest thing. It's just like the company. If you have no upward mobility in your company for your employee think they have a chance to grow,
Right.
your company's going to die. Because you don't have new blood. You cannot be champion forever. So you always have new blood. Immigration is the same way. It's okay to have immigration. Just do it differently. I'll give you a case in point. Dubai. 20-some years ago, when I first went there, it's just big sand, a lot of desert. 20 years later, high rise. They import a lot of legal labor workforce, both skilled and unskilled labor to
Right.
do the work. We could do the same thing because our population growth is going the other way. But the spike surge of current illegal immigration, it does not help because they are not migrating into the community. They just a spike. It's like a flu. Hit you for 5 days, then it goes away. Well, but the problem with this flu is staying. It's not going away because there's no antidote. I cannot take 2 Tylenol and it will go away. There's no Tylenol for this case.
Right. So you see it that we're having to compete for
Right.
talent worldwide. It's no longer we're competing against just the United States from one state to another state, right?
That's correct. So how do we do that from a state standpoint? For Nevada, obviously, I want Nevada continue to grow, and Nevada need to grow in different direction.
Yeah.
As our
Yes.
population base probably will double in the next 10, 15 years, right? From 3.3 million to as much as 5.5 to 6 million people. Well, that will create a lot of things. Well, we need a lot of school, a lot of healthcare, lots of everything, right? So where do we find the workforce? So part of that is how do we look at how other country does that? Dubai didn't have the workforce to build out a city, high rises and everything. So you learn how to strategically outsource labor first workforce overseas, and then take them in, strategically apply to what we need.
Right.
There's no shortage of work in the world. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It's how you get it. Okay? There's no shortage. It's just how you get it. So by getting that, there's 2 positive things. One, it motivates the people here. Hey, the competition's coming. We gotta do better. When you have competition, things will get better.
Absolutely.
The current illegal immigration, there's no competition because everybody gets here, got a lot of entitlement.
Right.
So if I get entitlement, why am I trying harder? And the worst yet, what people don't pay attention, all this illegal immigrant, whatever entitlement they get, if they get $200 free phone, whatever they get free healthcare, all those money is not new money. You're not creating new money. We just wash the money and satisfy. If they get cash, like New York gave them a debit card, they could take that cash and send it back to the home country. So before the illegal immigration situation the last 3 years, an average, we just talked about 2 main ethnic groups that we know of that do a lot of legal and illegal employment. One is Mexico and the other one's Philippines. Philippines are one of the largest export labor workforce country in the world. Each country, respectively, get expats somewhere between $34 billion a year from people earning money overseas. Now, the sad part is that money go overseas. I get that because it affects their family in their country. But the negative effect to U.S. is that 60, 80 billion dollar is gone from our market.
Right.
They're not buying the bread. They're not buying a car with those money. So it does affect us all. So that's a negative side of it. So how the workforce is one, we have to change the way we think about school.
Yes.
So we, from the state level, state could control that. State need to encourage more charter school and vocational school, put a challenge and competition against a public school. Right?
No, definitely. And I believe that's the direction we're going right
Yeah.
now, even with homeschooling, right?
Right. It's because public schools have a different agenda, right? Charter school a different agenda, but parents have one agenda. No, I don't care what status you're in. You all want your kid to be best educated.
Yes.
Okay. So when you look at the reality in the world, you never see a third world country in a poor neighborhood have the best school system, best healthcare system, and best housing. Why is that? Because they're too busy worry about where the next meal's coming from. And that's when you have to worry about that, the rest is I don't care.
So I know this is one of the things that you're very passionate about.
Yeah.
And so you've developed a training curriculum that you've launched to train project managers. And this is training the white collar. So
Well,
let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, it is in some way train the white collar, but it's also train the blue collar. Because my training is like 15, 16 lessons, and they all is a combination of practicality and business.
Yeah.
So let's just say you're not a good candidate for college and you want to be a plumber. Okay, I teach you some of the practicality about how to be a plumber. Right, get your license, go to apprenticeship, whatever you need to do. Okay, after that, you might want to be your own plumber, have your own license, drive around, have 4 or 5 vans running around fixing people's toilet. Well, part of that, some of those lessons will teach you that. Because when you're in business, the first objective is about money.
Yes.
Okay? Nobody's in business to lose money.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
When people tell you, I have passion about my business, yes, that might be true at the beginning, but when you start losing money every day, that passion goes away pretty quick. So we want to teach some reality. We want to encourage people to look at things in a different perspective. And most, I'm going to say not most, I say all construction companies in this country don't have that kind of training program for simple reason. They do not tie the business side into the technical side. The technical side will run by itself. Like all the new generation of graduate I get, they say, oh yeah, I could use that software, that user software. I say, all those software are set up and write the algorithm by another software engineer. They don't know anything about building construction. But the information needs to be fed in before information is fed out. If you give bad information is going to come out.
Right.
So how do you know what information you need to put in? Well, just have the drawings. How do you know the drawings right? So, case in point, the last job I did, the structural engineer and the architect design guy designed a hotel and the building's different by 18 inches.
That's a problem.
So I'm looking, okay, you want your building 18 inches smaller or bigger? And which way? So that's but you fed the information, now you got 2 different versions of what you want to do. So a lot of the training is very focused on practicality, based on things I have done in the past and how to apply it in both business sense. And because it's also by using that, if you have a right standard training program and good SOP, standard operation procedure company, it creates 2 things. A successful business creates a lot of duplication of talent, right? A good guy will teach another person how to be good.
Yes.
A bad guy will teach another person how to be bad. Well, the process is the same way. But it's also a safeguard for business ownership. I could easily pick up the check and balance of my business because my process is safe. You imagine if I got 10 project manager company, they all operate differently. So, okay, which one's better? You want a mess, right? Because everybody got an opinion. So that's kind of that overall. So give you the business understanding of the engineering construction side, plus the practicality side. And also, in 1 or 2 of my classes, talk about trend. Where are we going? What is this industry doing? What other industry? Because you're always chasing the next customer.
Yeah.
But you got to know what the next customer is doing. If you don't know that, you may chase into a dead-end business.
Are you able to then come in maybe and teach? Maybe there's a large construction company out there looking for someone to come in and train their folks. Is that something that you might be interested in doing? Or are you doing more on one-on-ones in a classroom setting, but just send your folks to me and I can show them how to do it there?
I could do both.
You can
I
do
have done
both,
both because when we started this project way back 30 years ago, we have huge classes within our company. But we have a program set up. We constantly recruit new, college graduate, and they usually be 20, 30 people, and we go to the process of, selecting who's the cream of the crop, right?
Yeah.
So the survival rate, the honest truth, the survival rate on that recruitment that we do is about 30%. So for every 10, I get 3 good ones, and the rest, generally, we let them go.
Okay, awesome. Well, we have 1 minute left. I want to make sure that you're giving your information on how to get a hold of you. How do they get a hold of you, Fan?
So I have an email. It's fanteria1@gmail. It's spelled FANTERIOR1@gmail.com. And or you could contact me by phone. The area code is 781-838-0178.
Great. And I mean, I can have conversations with Fan all day. And typically I do sometimes. So, no, I just want to thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to just put you on the show. And then let's talk, talking about your project management courses that you're launching. I really wish you a lot of success. We know we're creating a partnership as well. So then that way we can train the individuals that we're going to be placing out in the construction field, because obviously our workforce right now is underdeveloped.
That's true, and your business is very complementary because like most of our construction job has a set time frame, right? They do 20 year, 30 year. So there's a lot of moving part, a lot of transitional workers, which is affect your business, right? Your business is a supplemental side of that, or what we need. But at the same time, there's also that, the what you call the permanent workforce, right? The engineer, the project manager, the superintendent. But that's just an escalation of your career path.
Right.
But that we all stem from the bottom. I started, don't know anything. I was starting in the field. I get kicked around like a football.
And look where you're at right now.
So it takes time. It takes time to build. And I was very fortunate. I have a very good mentor, good teacher, someone willing to contribute back to the next generation. And that's what I'm doing. All my training classes are really more focused on the individual and the group or the company. If you want to grow and you want to grow in a sustainable way, I have a way to do that.
Definitely. So definitely call Fan at 781-838-0178. Once again, Fan, thank you so much for coming on our show. You can catch us on WWDBTV and on Roku, YouTube at CS Now Staffing. Thank you, and we'll see you on the next show.
Thank you.